Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final day of Starladder Action Season 4, your final major European match of the year. That's right, we're going out with a bang in 2012. It's Team Empire versus Na'Vi. It's an all-CIS affair. These two teams, indisputably the top two teams coming out of Eastern Europe and arguably in all of Europe over the past 3-4 months since the International 2. They've both looked really strong, but it is Na'Vi, after struggling and to sort of gain their footing, gain some traction over the past month. They stormed through the brackets. We'll take a quick look at those as the draft begins. You can see Na'Vi, they are the winner bracket champions. They will have a one-game advantage in this best out of 5. So you can call this game number 2, Na'Vi leading the best out of 5, 1-0. But you haven't missed any games. It's just the winner bracket advantage. Empire, they had the harder road here. They lost that winner bracket finals. Then they dropped down. They had to fight Fnatic yesterday. And now here they are in the grand finals. They took the Asus Open, but can they take Starladder? So far, Na'Vi has taken this event every single time. I'm LD, and I'm joined here today by Merlini. And Merlini, how do you feel about Merldini as our new moniker? Eldini?
It's all right. It's all right.
Eldini?
It could be worse.
It could be. If you have a better idea, let me know. Apparently, in-game sound is not working. I'm not sure who that is. It might just be stream delay. But, Na'Vi versus Empire. This is going to be an exciting one. Here we saw a lot, which has not been banned yet. It's the Wisp. This should be pretty interesting. If it's not banned out, it will be Na'Vi of the first go at it. We've seen they're not afraid to first pick it. You know Empire would love to get their hands on it. First ban Nyx Assassin. This hero has been gaining a lot of respect in not only in Europe, but also in Asia. It's been a top ban. We saw it in the Asia yesterday. Wisp gets through, and Puppy, you know he was just mashing that button, immediately snaps it up.
So we see Bat Rider left out. Bat is immediately picked up by Empire as well. Notably, first ban by Na'Vi, very first ban of the game actually, was Clinks. Funnick is well known for his Clinks, especially on Dire side. Dire side has a slight advantage over Radiant side when picking the Clinks because the big camp is there, so they immediately took that out of the question.
Yeah, so, I mean, like you said, that Clink's just a little bit stronger on the Dire side, and, well, what are they going to go after this Bat Rider? There's an Undying in the pool. That's something Empire love to run. There's a Twin-Headed Dragon. If you want to go for a strong pushing support, there's a Keeper of the Light, and no surprises. This is what Empire loves to do. We're probably going to see that Scandal, solo mid Bat Rider, a tri-lane with the Undying. They still don't have Funix here. They still don't have the other pieces of the tri-lane, but it's typical Empire. And offensive tri-lane, generally Wisp struggles against this.
I'm surprised that all of these quote-unquote imbalanced heroes have survived through the ban phase. We usually don't see Undying and Bat Rider and Wisp survive, especially in the European scene. So, you know, a little bit unusual bans. NA usually gets through, even though he is considered one of the top picks. Mag almost always banned. So we're seeing some very strong heroes on both teams.
I think the big reason we're seeing them slip through is, well, sort of the rise of Nyx Assassin as a top ban, which wasn't the case a couple of weeks ago, certainly not a month or so ago. And also the respect ban of Funix Clinks. Those two factors combined to let a lot slip through. And I think Na'Vi are okay with this. They do get their hands on the Wisp. It's something they really value. I am curious to see what they're going to combo with that Wisp and how they're going to look to deal with this Undying.
Wisp is a little bit weak in lane. Undying tends to beat out Undying tri-lanes tend to beat out Wisp tri-lanes just because Wisp is just so squishy early.
Oh, there you go. Well, Na'Vi, they pretty much tipped their hand as far as what their big farmers are going to be. Lifestealer, Wisp will probably be in that tri-lane. We have TA for Dendi, solo mid, so this is one of Dendi's favorite heroes, and I gotta say, it's a bold pick because Bat Rider is a hero that can really punish TA. Now, Bat Rider can only last a one hero, so come mid to late game, if Lifestealer and TA are both farmed, Bat can't shut them both down. But in the laning stage, we've seen it before. This is a tough matchup for TA.
Very interesting picks by Na'Vi. Bat Rider is traditionally pretty good versus Lifestealer as well, because if he rages, you can just lasso him and then focus him down if you have sufficient physical damage. And again, as you mentioned, Bat Rider is very strong versus Templar Assassin in the middle lane if they choose to match it that way.
Yeah, it does beg the question, will Na'Vi try to do something, you know, sort of off the beaten path with the lanes, try and dodge the tri-lane, try and, you know, even run an aggressive tri-lane of their own? Will they try and mix things up? We'll have to see. If they want to do something cute with the lanes, it's something they could think about, but it's always hard to do that because Empire's two solo players, Scandal and Funnick, are so strong that it's tough to run an aggressive tri-lane against them and get anything accomplished. And then you're just giving away that safe lane farm. So we'll see what they do. Laning stage for Na'Vi not looking particularly dominant, but if they can get to the mid game intact, this is going to be a pretty potent ganking lineup. And Lifestealer and TA, they've got a lot of damage to read on that Tombstone. So I think if Na'Vi can get through the laning phase, okay, they're in a pretty good shape, but that's going to be tough to do.
We see a lot of carry heroes being banned in the second phase. Bounty Hunter, a strong offlaner, Broodmother, Faceless Void, and Weaver.
Yeah, it's the Weaver ban. This is a hero that was just totally forgotten. Even I want to say like even 2 weeks ago, but we saw Virtus Pro running it a lot, and Empire started to pick it up. He is pretty. I want to say his best position is as an aggressive tri-lane carry if they're a little bit weaker, especially with Jakiro and Undying backing him up. That's a lot of chasing power, a lot of early killing power, and Wisp is a hero that just, you know, normally she can tether away to safety. That's not always going to be the case if the Weaver's there to chase her down. So I think it's a decent ban from Na'Vi, even if it's a little bit odd on first glance.
So we kind of see some sort of lanes developing from Team Empire and Na'Vi. Wisp and Lifestealer most likely in the safe lane, Templar Assassin in the middle, Bat Rider probably middle lane, and Undying and Jakiro part of Team Empire's triple lane. So we're most likely going to see 1-1-3 from both teams as it looks.
Yeah, and I'm really curious, what is Phoenix hero going to be for Empire? They haven't picked up the Clinks or the Wisp, so what do they turn to for him? We're going to find out real soon, and the one thing Empire is lacking is DPS. They've got a lot of magical damage, they've got really strong lanes, but they have no carry at the moment. And like you talked about, a lot of those carries have been banned out. In fact, it's four carry heroes. Naga, you could argue, is sort of a team fight initiator as much as anything else, and there you go. It's the Lone Druid. Interesting pickup from Empire. A lot of pushing power early, and one thing Na'Vi really lacks is anti-push. They now get the axes from Beastmaster, but that's not enough to stop a Lone Druid plus all the other stuff coming their way.
Lifestealer is decent versus Lone Druid, but again, as you said, a Lone Druid is a very strong pusher, and their first three heroes, first three of Na'Vi's picks, actually lack very strong AoE. Wisp, Lifestealer, and TA are not really considered anti-pushers. Notably, Empire banned Furion, or Nature's Prophet. They don't really want to give Na'Vi, you know, that global presence with Wisp gank and, you know, Lifestealer infesting inside someone and relocate and global TP from Furion. That would just be too much for them to handle.
If you're Na'Vi, it seems like Tanker is the final pick, and it's a Funnick Tanker. He's probably played it before. I haven't cast that much Empire, so this is not something I've ever seen, but if you want to push, there's nothing better than that. And also, it gives them that laser, which is fantastic against a hero like TA. Lifestealer can rage out of that blind, but nonetheless, it's still going to be a potent tool in their arsenal. This is an interesting pick, and the laning stage for Na'Vi, what should they be doing with their lanes? As I will fix the overlay, don't worry guys, I'm on top of this. But yeah, what do you think if you're Na'Vi? How do you deal with this laning phase? Because that really seems to be the big issue for them right now.
Well, they'll have to put Denzi mid as TA. You just can't really lane TA anywhere else. And then Light of Heaven will either be jungling or on top lane. That's just Beastmaster's job, just to, you know, get levels. He doesn't really need that much farm. And then triple lane, Puppy, AA, and Nakes bottom versus the other aggressive tri-lane. I think Empire's tri-lane is a little bit stronger, and it looks like we might have some action right now.
Yeah, as that action is about to kick off, we'll introduce the players real quickly. On the side of Empire, we have Funnick, who has been impressive to say the least. Although we did see some questionable item decisions in that one game we cast of him. I think it was 2 days ago. He's played really well outside of that. He's playing the Tinker. Godblack on the support, Undying from the looks of things. He pulled, I believe, some regen to somebody. Well, we'll see. SS Silent playing that Jakiro. Solo mid Scandal rushing the bottle as the Batrider. Blow Your Brain on the safe lane Lone Druid. And the off lane, like you mentioned, Light of Heaven on the Beastmaster. The solo mid TA for Denny. And then the tri lane Puppy on the support with. Sentry Ward's already picked up. Ancient Apparition being played by AA. How appropriate. That's our start, of course. And last but not least, we have Havost on the Lifestealer. And there you go with Decay. Right off the bat, Wisp trying to scout out that bottom rune. Rather bold play from Na'Vi, but at level 1, this Empire lane isn't that devastating. And are they gonna go on this? They think about it. There comes the March, and Puppy will just immediately back off. Are they tri-laning with the Tinker?
It looks like it. I mean, Batrider is mid and Lone Druid is top. It looks like they are babysitting. Oh, we might have a first blood.
Really? Really? Oh boy, this is not what Na'Vi wanted. It was already gonna be tough in the lane, and right off the bat, they give it up. That Decay just a lot of players just, you know, it's so hard to respect the damage. You just can't be anywhere near Undying. Couple decay spams on a squishy here like Wisp, and down she goes.
That was a very, very aggressive play by Na'Vi. Granted, Tinker is not that strong at level 1, but decay is, you can't underestimate that spell. It just completely wrecked Wisp, very low HP pool.
Yeah, and that's going to make this tri-lane tougher. They also have the camp warded. We'll see if the D ward from Na'Vi comes out successfully, as well as having a ward to spot any movement from the TA towards this bottom lane. So the vision is pretty good right now for Empire. The sentry ward is placed. They don't actually spot it out just yet. Puppey did use that tether to clear out some trees, trying to spot the ward, but not able to do it yet. And until they find it, they're going to struggle. If they pull, though, to some extent that almost opens up Empire. They can push reasonably hard, and they can also try and steal that pull for themselves. So 2 sentry wards placed. Are they going to find this? Puppey waiting for that tether to cool down. Is he going to find this ward? It's a big factor in this tri-lane.
THG is playing very aggressively on Lifestealer, and the tides have turned, but no team actually engages on each other.
Yeah, well, keep an eye on that lane. Let's take a quick look at the other ones, though. We have Blow Your Brain as the safe lane low druid, already level 3. Light of Heaven going for the Call of the Wild build, at least early on. He's playing that off-lane Beastmaster. Oh, kills the bear. Big victory from Light of Heaven. That's a lot of gold. An extra 100 for him. We'll have probably that bottle soon. We'll see what he goes for. Scandal on that middle lane is winning by a little bit, but Dendy getting a couple more denies. So pretty even matchup so far. A lane that normally we see Bat pull ahead in.
Syllabear actually did not choose to get a Stout Shield, and that's why his Spirit Bear got so low. Usually you don't see Syllabears lose their bear this early in the game. We might have...
Oh, we have a dive mid. Scandal wants the first blood. 5 stacks. Or not the first blood, but the first kill mid. He's going to dive the tower, but Dendy just running around in a circle. It's the merry-go-round treatment for him, and he gets away to safety. Oh,
he still has Refraction up.
Does he? Oh, goes back in, but yeah, like you said, Refraction's still up.
So we see the THG trying to stack some Ancients, probably for Tinker. This is also one of the strengths of Dire bottom lane, is that you're very close. You have very close access to that Ancient pool, and you know, babysitting this Tinker is going to be very easy for him to just pick up a very fast BOTs if they stack this camp and babysit him appropriately. Yeah,
because of that, it's actually not that awkward. Like, if you were on the Radiant side, you couldn't do this without really walking a long way from the lane, so that's a great point. It's, you know, a lot of people think the map's very symmetrical, but there's actually quite a bit of differences, especially when it comes, not just to Roshan, but even to the jungles. They're going to go on Arsart, and he just drops. He melts to the damage. Those auto attacks from Undying really hurting. Here comes an Ice Path. Arsart will rage and dodge that one, although it looks like he's going to live anyway.
After falling behind with that first blood in bottom lane, looks like the 6 heroes bottom has definitely tipped in Empire's favor.
Yeah, it's what we talked about, is the draft just left Na'Vi with somewhat weaker lanes, and especially give up the first blood, and having this difficult matchup mid. I do want to point out, I love the fact that Denny went for the boots first. Normally you'd see the TA get bottle, but you just need those boots to deal with the tower diving from Bat. If he had gone bottle first, he would have given up a kill there for sure, but is at least surviving, which honestly is a victory against Bat. Or not a victory, but, you know, it's as good as you can expect, really.
So THG picks up a visibility rune after triple stacking the Ancients. He looks like he's headed mid to try and pick up a kill on Dendy without... Dendy is not topped off right now since he did opt for an early boots build instead of bottle crowing. He
has almost a full wand, so he's deceptively tanky right now, but let's see if he can even pop that. If Refraction's up, he should have a chance to. We'll have to see bottom lane Undying Tinker. You just see these Undying lanes, it's just so hard to actually initiate on them that normally you leave your off lane with only 2 and they have a defensive tri-lane. They jump you immediately in sort of a more standard matchup, but with this lane, and also with Tinker just having March, you don't want to chase into that. They're not getting too aggressive. Na'Vi not really, also not having too much vision. They have rune vision, but they don't really see what's going on inside of the tree line, and he's invis, so they don't really know where this twin head is right now.
Surprisingly, even after giving up 2 kills bottom, Na'Vi still is ahead on last hits on bottom lane. Lifestealer is ahead with 24, which is 5 over any of the solo laners.
They're not keeping him down at all, and there's no points in laser, which can be a decent way to try and help mess up his last hitting, but of course you can rage out of it if you need to, but not something you really want to spam. You're right, he's the lead farmer right now, I believe. Maybe First Blood Gold's going to mess that up. No, he's actually ahead of everybody, in spite of the First Blood going to Empire. And Blow Your Brain does hit level 6. He's got Tranquil Boots up. This is a pretty tough lane for Beastmaster normally, but The Bears actually back at base right now. That lack of stout shield really seems to be hurting it. We already saw it die earlier in Light of Heaven. Now it's back at base healing again. Normally in a lone druid versus any melee hero, you're driving them out of lane. You're not losing your bear, being forced to send it back to heal.
Yeah, he definitely does need a Stout Shield. Stout Shield and Orb of Venom is pretty much core in competitive Syllabear play, especially in their safe lane. You should be able to force most heroes out of the lane. You know, if it's a Windrunner or Queen of Pain, or maybe not a Darkseer, but most off-lane heroes, including a Beastmaster, you should be able to force out early, especially not, and you shouldn't have your bear die that early too, but that we clearly see this lack of Stout Shield, you know, punishing Blow for his item choice.
And it's one of those things, it's just such a cheap investment, and it's a decent item to have even in the later stages of the game, because your bear's normally going to get a big item, so you're not going to fill up all those slots early. And inventory space is a resource in Dota as much as gold, as much as buybacks, as much as anything else. So it's a small adjustment that he can make. He's got the money for it now. I would really like to see it. And at this point, though, the damage is sort of already done. That offlane Beastmaster is level 6. And the one thing the Beastmaster does have going for him over that Lone Druid is Lone Druid's not going to leave this lane. Empire have to be slightly worried about a TP or a smoke gank coming either towards mid or towards that bottom lane. Whereas for Empire, if the Beastmaster leaves, all the Lone Druid can really do is push.
Surprisingly, I think the Beastmaster has the highest level in the game, which is actually kind of a loss for Team Empire. When you have a safe lane in this 1v1 matchup, you want to dominate that lane. Whether it be Funnet Clinks or Syllabear, you're supposed to dominate most 1v1 matchups. So the fact that Navi's off lane is the highest level in the game and has very decent farm is kind of a loss for top lane.
Yeah, it definitely is. Looks like we have a prolonged pause. I'm not really sure what's going on, though, as all the players are in the game currently. For everybody tuning in, guys, this is technically the first game being played today, but we can call it game number 2, because Na'Vi does have a 1-game advantage. This is a best out of 5. So if Na'Vi win this game, and it's not looking particularly good, but it is very early in the laning phase. If they win this game, they're 1 game away from taking first place. If they lose, then it's essentially a best out of 3 the rest of the way. And for Empire, they would love to start off that way. We do have the unpause coming out right now in the middle lane. Scandal getting aggressive. 4 stacks, or 3 stacks up on Dendi. The Beastmaster, as mentioned, is level 6. He's got boots. Is there a bottle? There is double bottle crow action. That crow is working overtime, man. Give it some extra gasoline, because it's going to need it.
So nighttime hits. Beastmaster may pick up a TP soon. He doesn't have any mana to do anything right now. He actually just bought a TP, so we may see him TP gank very shortly.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. The bottle is coming back soon. It's a haste on Dendi. He wants Scandal, and Scandal's going to have to go up and down the cliff. Oh, boy, he's just playing games. Not off any other hero. If Dendi's hasted, even if it's a Quap or something, you can kill him there. But just being able to go up and down the hill like that and TA having low range, he does get away. But Dendi getting that rune, it's going to force Bat back to base, and suddenly the mid lane going pretty well for Dendi. So the 2 off lanes, Na'Vi getting a lot more out of them than you would expect.
Definitely. So that haste rune definitely turned the tide in favor of Dendi in middle. He hasn't died, which is pretty important. Going for those boots first was very, very important. We see Funnek actually pick up an early soul ring. He's sitting on 400 gold after boots, soul ring, a few branches, and a flask. So he's not rushing bots the traditional way, but he is picking up some intermediate items.
Scandal did use Firefly just to clear out the creep wave. In comes the Ice Path on Puppy. He's tethered up, but he's at the tower. And Empire, they're just keeping the lane at Navi's tower, but they're not diving, so they're giving Na'Vi the experience, and they're not really pressuring too much. And like you mentioned, Lifestealer is farming. These are lanes, I would say pretty much every lane looked like Empire should at least have slight advantages in, but if anything, Navi's breaking even or winning the lanes. Lone Druid is out, and Batrider are slightly out farming their opposition, but when you consider the matchups, you expect more than that. Scandal has rotated bottom. He walks up the river, and notice it's right after that 6-minute mark. Actually, well after, and it's around 7.5 minutes. So they know the wards are down. The tri-lane hasn't moved, so there's no chance to reward, and now they go on to Puppy. Puppy gets pulled into the Firefly. Should be a pretty easy kill. There's not too much burst damage, but it should be enough, and they bring him down. And now they look to push. How fast can they do it? That's the question. Well, or will they? Looks like maybe not. Scandal gonna head back towards mid.
I was half expecting a TP counter game from Light of Heaven, that roar. Maybe they could have picked someone off as they were tower diving, but he chose not to move from top and probably try and keep Syllabear's farm down.
It's an interesting choice because he's not really keeping the bear down too much. Player Brain isn't CSing incredibly well, but you know, this lane, if you're missing last hits, it's mostly on you. It's not much. There's not much the Beastmaster can really do to stop you from farming. So Light of Heaven just choosing to stay in the lane. He is getting a lot of experience, and levels on Beastmaster are crucial. You want to get that Hawk maxed out. Ideally, get the boar at least get the Greater Hawk, if not go for the Greater Boar, and then also get the Aura leveled up. The Aura is going to synergize incredibly well because they already have Wisp, who gives your teammates attack speed and move speed, and then you're going to have TA and Lifestealer, both heavily reliant on physical damage. So this Beastmaster getting levels, it's a pretty worthwhile trade, as long as Navi's not being thoroughly punished. And, well, they've given up a couple kills, but wow, look at this. A 3-man raiding party. Everybody going top.
He might scout it out with his bear. Looks like his bear has actually picked up a stout shield. He has reconsidered his item choice.
Yeah, it's a pretty late stout shield, and, you know, like we talked about, the damage sort of already done. The bear will scout out the gank and then walk back. And now Na'Vi just going to start farming the enemy jungle. They've just abandoned the safe lane. We see Godblack rotating towards mid. Empire, they've won the game of chicken, at least. The bear getting ganked. It gets trapped up. It's cold-feeded. It will drop, and that's another bear kill for Na'Vi. That's 200 gold they've gotten. Wow, that's a lot to give away. And now they look to maybe push this top lane? No, gonna back off. It was a long journey up there, though.
Beastmaster still does not have 1 point aura yet. They don't really have that great of pushing potential unless some of Empire's heroes are down. But they need to look for an opportunity to push early if they want to push. Funnick is very close to his BOTs, and we all know how annoying that March and Rocket spam can be.
Yeah, like you mentioned, 1,800 gold up on him. The Ancients are hugely stacked as well. That's one thing they have really been doing, is just... And it's the nice thing about Undying. He's so strong in lane, you can have that Twin Head, leave the lane, go stack the Ancients, and Tinker's going to have easy access to those. The Boots of Travel coming out soon, and Na'Vi, just... Perhaps that's the goal, is let's get something now before the bots come out, because then it's going to be hard to push. Godblack's getting caught top. He's tether stunned. He's brought down. Now the tether rotated on to Below Your Brain, but... They can't really go, and that Phase Boots bear really hurts Puppy. Looks like the Phase Boot's not being activated right now to help that bear move faster. And won't find the kill, was hoping for an entangle, but doesn't get it.
We should start seeing Na'Vi continue to apply pressure top. They did lay an aggressive ward as they were making their way top and killing that second bear.
I love how you put it, because it's basically a bear gank, and this is something we saw at DreamHack was essentially there was one point where no Tidehunter was really stacking Ancients, and there was actually smoke ganks of the enemy Ancient stacks from them. So now we're seeing smoke ganks of the Lone Druid bear. Now I think I've really seen it all.
So Funnick has picked up his BOTs. He is clearing that Ancient camp right now. I believe it is a 4-stack and TH courtesy of Dragon.
Mid lane, Dendy gets lassoed. He's taking a lot of damage. He has a fresh refraction, and he will actually get away. So like you were saying, the Ancient's being farmed, and the bots are up. And also another 1,000 gold. Boy, is he our lead farmer? He is. He's out farming that Lifestealer, who's, like we talked about, so CSing really well in lane. Lifestealer did go for a Midas, and so he's going to try to keep up, but keeping up with Lone Druid and Tinker is always going to be tough.
Lone Druid did opt for a phase boost build, though normally we see just maybe regular boost on the bear with a stout shield over venom into a Midas. Maybe no Midas, but straight radiance after the boots and the core items on the bear.
Yeah, it's a big investment. I mean, you're looking at an extra 1,000 gold that's probably, what, 2-3 minutes at least to farm to get that in most cases. So it does set the relic timing back a bit, but it allows you to be a little stronger now, and if they get some towers, I guess that equalizes the trade, and maybe makes up for the potential loss in time. And the push begins. Pressure in the top lane from Lone Druid and Tinker. Boy, these two are such a nice combo. The bear to whack away at the tower and tank the shots, while the March of Machines keeps the enemy heroes back. It's a really underrated combo. They have a lot of synergy together.
So without AA being level 6 and no Beastmasters there, they can't really contest this.
Yeah,
T2, but it looks like they are backing off, trying to gank Dendy right now.
Yeah, Dendy gets entangled. He's taking a lot of damage, and he should fall. He should fall right in the middle of 4, sitting in the Firefly, trying to get away. Even Opa Dendy, no chance for him. He'll drop. And now they look to push that top lane, I think. No, backing off. I mean, like we talked about, even in the draft, until they picked up the Beastmaster, Na'Vi had no anti-push. And even with the Beastmaster, it's not much. It's Axes and then eventually the Ice Blast. But like you said, they don't have the Ice Blast yet.
So once Tinker's actually very, very good versus Navi's heroes late game. Nakes or Lifestealer and TA actually don't really have any magical damage unless you consider Infest, which is very minor. If Funnick goes Ghost Scepter and just refreshes Ghost Scepter, there's almost no way they can touch him unless he gets roared and completely focused, or they go some sort of Dagon or something like that.
And it's a dual core lineup. So if you focus all that on Funnick, then you're not focusing the Lone Druid.
Mm-hmm. I like the double carry / backup. For Empire, they have Syllabear as main carry, Tinker as backup, and for Na'Vi, TA for the mid game, and she's okay late, and then Nakes for the really, really late game.
I wonder for Na'Vi when we're going to start seeing the relocates. Puppey did just hit level 6, but he's very squishy. Only boots and a wand, that's it. Doesn't have an urn, doesn't have, you know, bracer or anything like that. 700 HP, and there's some good burst damage on Empire. We saw even just a single decay can really bring you down. Although it's level 1 now, so it's not quite as scary at this point in the game, but something, I guess Na'Vi just not feeling like they have the openings. Dendy, what is he sitting on? Up to 1,000 gold. Dendy not really farming well at all. This TA is very underfarmed.
We see AA finally hit level 6, so we may see some Roar and Ice Blast ganks very soon.
It's actually, it's one aspect of their lineup that really does synergize well, is they have the Wisp, and then they also have the Hawk to scout things out, and the AA Ice Blast, so it's a fairly global lineup in that sense.
So Funnick has 1,700 gold after his core, bots, bottle, and Soul Ring. I wonder what he's going to pick up as his first big item.
I mean, you mentioned the Ghost Scepter, and it's not only does it give you, obviously, the ethereal form, but it's very cost-efficient stats, too. It's just, I honestly think it's one of the few items in the Dota that is just too good for the cost, because it gives you a ton of stats, as well as that amazing passive. But either way, and it's something you could turn into a late-game Ethereal Blade if you go for that Dagon, which, you know, we saw in the Asia yesterday. I don't know if we'll see it today, but we'll hang on and we'll find out. Blow Your Brain, after going for the Phase Boots and Tranquil, sitting on 2,000 gold. We're looking at probably a Relic in the next 4 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less, a little bit longer, depending on if any towers or kills happen. There was a relocate bottom. They want this twin-headed dragon. Puppey just really manning up, and the TP support is here. Puppey is potentially overextended. He should fall to the decay. Meanwhile, the bigger kill, the Lifestealer did drop at the tower. No chance for him. Puppey leading his teammates into essentially into just the line of fire and just getting them picked off. Not what they were hoping for, and now the push probably going to come out from Empire.
Very nice reaction from Team Empire right there. Lifestealer, as soon as he saw the double TPs in, he tried to rage and TP out, but Scandal was able to lasso him and interrupt the TP. Scandal has picked up his Blink Dagger much earlier than Dendy, but Dendy did opt for Phase Boot before his most probable item next, which is Blink.
Yeah, we'll probably see it from him, but if Empire are grouped up, that Blink doesn't do anything for you, and they do have the kind of lineup you expect. Not right now, but a little bit later. They're at least going to have 4 heroes probably grouped up at all times, and the one who will be on its own is the Tinker most likely, and he is not an easy kill. Even if Dendy jumps him, you can always just laser him and Boots of Travel out. So we'll see. The Blink, often the common item on TA, but in this game, I'm not sure if it's really the best choice. But middle lane, it is going to be a gank onto Blow Your Brain, and he just got his brains blown out of his head by that gank. And the push comes in.
Light of Heaven opts for an early Medallion of Courage, which synergizes well with Dendy's meld and Lifestealer's pure physical damage.
And this is the problem when you're up against the Tinker who gets those early levels. You get a couple kills, or you even get just get the 1 kill, and then immediately you're forced back if you don't kill the Tinker, the March, the Rocket Spam. And all these other heroes are great at counter pushing, so not only do Empire... not only does Na'Vi lack ways to really stop pushes, or at least not have an amazing anti-push lineup, but they can't really push against Empire. So they get the kill, but then they're forced to go back and farm.
We also see 4 wards up from Team Empire. They have very good map vision right now. There's some TA traps set up from Na'Vi and 1 in Dire's jungle, but other than that, they can't really see that much of the map, which may be a problem come nighttime.
And they have a Wisp, they have an Inch Apparition, they do have the Hawk to give them some vision, but they want to be going for these kills around the map. They want to be picking off the heroes that are isolated, and you really can't do that when you don't have the outer towers, when you don't have the vision. Dendy has the blink, he jumps in mid, trap on 2, but then forced to run away until the relocate comes. Hello, says Puppey. Hello, my friends, I'm back, and this time my little zombie pal is a little bit healthier, but he's oh, he will infest. It was off cooldown, is able to back out there. And then the relocate back to base from Puppey. And here we go. They're going to try and push Goblak, spamming that Soul Rip. It's a little bit under-leveled for 18 minutes in, but it was an offensive tri-lane. Still another kill, not able to push, and all the while Lone Druid farming away. It's actually quite far behind the Lifestealer when it comes to CS, and he doesn't have the Midas, but it's the Tinker who leads the charts. The Blink Dagger up and 1,000 gold. Funnick is getting pretty fat.
He's definitely going to be a problem for them late game. Ancient, especially if THG keeps up with the Ancient stacking.
He's been pretty good about it. It looks like there's still 2 stacks there. We've seen at least 3 or 4 stacks this game, and that's only the ones I've managed to catch on the camera. There may have been more than that. And if you're going to pick Tinker, that's really important to be able to do that. And they did it with an offensive tri-lane. Normally when you're doing stacking, it's either just sort of an off-lane suicide here like a Beastmaster that does it for the Tinker, or you're stacking other camps because you're running a defensive tri-lane. So the fact that they ran an offensive tri-lane and got huge Ancient stacks off is a credit to how well their laning phase went. Dendy's on the hunt. He's top lane, but he really... This Lone Druid is just not a hero he can solo kill. Way too tanky. He's going to need backup. The Wisp, healing up at base, does have relocate, and that's probably what they're waiting for. Blow Your Brain is spotted out by Dendy. Traps to fly in the wrong direction, and the TP out will come immediately. Without the backup of the Wisp, just no way to get that kill.
We can definitely see Navi's strategy right now. They want to go for an easy pick-off, take that T1 out middle, and probably go for an early Roshan with the Medallion and the Meld, but they're just not able to push against this Tinker, even though they are getting the pick-offs. First on Blow Your Brain middle on the Lone Druid, and then later on, I believe, the THD with the AA Ultimate and Dendy blinking in, but they're just not getting any room to push after these ganks.
And on the flip side, they're doing a pretty good job of pushing, but that was a big HF apparition ult, and it's going to drive them back for the moment. The fresh creep wave comes, the rearm should fly out, and round 2 begins. There is a glyph, but Na'Vi looks like they're going for the trade. The Lifestealer is top. Puppy's about to be next to him, so we could see that relocate towards mid momentarily. The tower's going to fall mid. It goes to the tanker of all heroes, who now, really, he's keeping up with a Midas Lifestealer, and he's doing it while putting a lot of pressure around the map. Still, Lifestealer's level 13, Puppy level 9. This was against an offensive tri-lane. I gotta say, Na'Vi did a nice job of dealing with the aggression from Empire, and into the pit they go. Empire not going to be nearly as fast with this Roshan as Na'Vi would be, but they have Tinker to keep the mid lane safe, and like you said, that middle tower is just crucial. If you want to contest Rosh or go for it yourself as the Radiant, you gotta knock down that tier 1 mid, and so far, they just haven't been able to do it.
The Hawk does spot it out, though. They don't have a TA trap in there, but they do have the Hawk. Na'Vi does see them going for it, so we might see a relocate or an AAO very, very soon.
And Roshan's dropping low. Na'Vi says, hey, get Roshan low, then we'll come kill you and steal it and clean it up. We would love for the assistance from you guys. That's some nice charity. That's the goal for them, but they're letting it drop pretty low. They're going to have a good team fight here. Let's see how the positioning is from Empire. Scandal, I'd like to see maybe Firefly up onto the high ground and get in a position to counter-initiate. In comes the AA ult. It's going to whiff. And maybe they'll go back in. Oh, such a cheesy combo. No, Funnick TP's in, but it's right into the middle of the entire enemy team, and 10 players disconnect. What a horrendous timing for it. Yeah, I was about to hit the pause button, but the German observer does it a little bit quicker.
Wow.
Wow. What a horrendous time for a pause.
That was about to be a ridiculous team fight.
I'm trying to think of an analogy to real sports. It would be like if you're playing basketball and both of the hoops just, crashed into the court and all the players are running for their... That's not really a good analogy at all, but I don't know. All the players have to go to the bathroom at once, and they just get up and leave. There you go. There's our analogy of the day. Wow. That A ult missed, and that's going to make it a lot harder to fight at Roche. Whilst this pause, we might even have to see a reload, because this is such a crucial time for that disconnect to happen.
AA may get another chance. Arzart may get another chance to hit that ultimate. Normally, at this 21-minute mark, you usually do see a Radiance up on Bear. So, Blow Your Brain, even with the free farm top and no ganks, very few ganks from Na'Vi on top lane, was unable to farm his Radiance very quickly. He doesn't even have his Relic at this point. He's only sitting on 3,200 gold with just Phase and Orb of Venom and Stout Shield on his Bear.
And he was a safe lane Lone Druid up against a Beastmaster, who's a decent offlaner. Is one of the better melee heroes, I'd say, versus Lone Druid, just because he's durable and he's got the board to harass him early on a little bit. But it's not a bad lane. Lone Druid really should have had it, and it goes back to what you were talking about, where he went for the double upgraded boots with the Tranquils as well as the Phase. It's something we see some players even skip boots on either the hero or the bear, let alone getting two upgraded pairs. It's a big investment. I think upwards of like 2,500 gold to get those two. But here comes the unpause. We're just gonna have a resume. Puppy still tethered up to Nakes and the Lifestealer. Let's see, are they gonna contest this? The Ancient Apparition ult already flew out. And it looks like Navi are just giving up.
Revo Roshan is sitting at 200 HP, but they look like they're not contesting it. After that with the AO, they're probably just like, well, we don't really have any firepower going in, and they're just going to give it up.
And Lone Druid with this, assuming he gets the last hit, that should just about be his relic. It'll be very close. And, yep, up to 3,700 gold, only about 75 away. Top lane, Fuddick TP's in, Shift Q's the blink, immediately jumps back, it looks like, and will now look to spam some rockets. I don't know if he can get a range for the March, and looks like he can't. They want this tier 1. Thinking about defending it as Empire, the tower drops, the TP is cancelled in the end. Scandal has the Force Staff, so a lot of... we're 99 kills in 22 minutes. With these two teams and the lanes they ran, I would have not have been surprised to see 30, 40 kills at this point, but... they're just settling into, you know, a farm war, basically, and Empire having that Roshan advantage. They get the Aegis up, the Tinker, the lead farmer right now. We'll see how it develops. Ultimate orb up on him.
Fuddick's playing very well at this point. He has not died yet, which is, you know, something that isn't not an easy task versus Beastmaster. If he gets roared or, you know, whisked, relocate gank, he could easily get picked off, but he's been playing very well so far.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten picked off at all. He's 3-0-2. This is an off-lane, tri-lane Tinker, but of course, it does. You have to credit the supports who have just done a great job of stacking H's for him, making sure that he could leave the lane and that they weren't giving up kills when he was absent. Goblak has a mech up, so really everybody is getting their items, and Empire, they do have a strong pushing lineup. Na'Vi, not as good at fighting 5v5 until they get really big farm up on the Lifestealer. Well, he's got it, actually. He's got a Deso, and he's got just a chop, 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 smack, 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 and brings that hero down in a hurry. Now the relocate from Wisp. Scandal blinks, but it's a bit of a, or was that a force step? Either way, it's a bit of a midget move from him, and now they look to kill him off. He's cold-feeded after the roar. He'll drop, and Na'Vi showing that if you're not 5-man grouped up, they're going to pick you off. Empire just not respecting really the ganky potential of Na'Vi. Give up a couple kills, and here comes hopefully the push mid.
So we're still waiting on that Radiance from Blow Your Brain. This is actually very crucial that he gets his Radiance. It will nullify TA's impacting team fights until he gets a BKB, which he's currently working on, and it'll be able to kill that Hawk very, very easily. And not to mention, you know, the AoE damage in the team fight, the ability to push out lanes without even being there. We really need to see this from Empire before they can start engaging team fights.
Yeah, and it's still really tough for them to push. Dendi is going to get Ice Path. There's a haste turn bottom, and he's actually just going to back off of this one. There was only an Undying lurking there. Barely picks it up at the last second. Flamebreak is going to cancel Dendi's TP, and he is royally screwed. There is no running away from that. Dendi giving up a kill. I'm surprised to see no more items on him. This TA just not really getting that much farm.
Even after those two picks off from Na'Vi, they were still not able to get that T1 tower up. The tower count is Na'Vi has killed 3 of Empire's towers, and Empire has taken down... oh, sorry. Navi's taken down 2 of Empire's towers, both in top lane, and Empire has taken out all of Navi's tier 1 towers.
Yeah, they have the map control advantage, and generally for the Dire, they can afford to give up a little bit more just because they have that Roshan advantage to begin with. Tower's also more important for Empire, I feel, because Na'Vi have the Hawk anyway to give them some amount of vision, and they have the global ganking lineup. So if you lose your towers against Na'Vi, then you're looking at relocate ganks everywhere. But when they're up, there's a lot more safe territory to stand in. And just such a passive game. It's giving a lot of time for all the carries and even the supports to get their items up. I mentioned the mech on Undying, but let's see what else we have. Double Blink Dagger on the Tinker and Bat Rider. We've seen that for a while. I think Tinker's Hex is coming soon. Yeah, up to another 2,100 gold. Lifestealer's fat as all hell. Deso, Armlet, Hanamitis. Now, you did mention the one issue with Lifestealer is he can be really countered by Ghost Scepters, and in fact, so too can the TA. I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen more from Empire, but if we get towards the late game, that's going to become a potential issue for them.
They are going to have to rely on Force Staff to save the supports that do get initiated on at this point until they can afford Ghost Scepters.
Hawk is scouting out Scandal and Blow Your Brain, who are sitting on traps. For a second there, it looked like players were about to disconnect again, but it looks like we should be okay. And whatever gank is being attempted, this is a massive waste of time. Lone Druid with the Radiant Spear is counter-pushing top lane, and with Phase Boots, it is pretty hard to run it down. Should be able to get away. Double damage rune, picked up by Scandal. And Dendy, that solo mid TA, you normally expect a lot more out of it. We haven't really seen anything from him so far. He's 1-2-2. He's one of the lowest, as far as the carries go, he's by far the lowest, sitting at 6.5k net worth. And TA a hero that generally, at this point, you'd want to be ahead, if anything. Not as much of a teamfight specialist as something like the Tinker, or as a pushing specialist, even like the Lone Druid. And here we go, mid lane, the push begins. Lifestealer banging away on that bottom tower. Should get it fairly easily, so a trade from them. They get the tier 1. They will most likely give up this tier 2. They have Glyph. And I think Navi's maybe going to defend this at the last second. In comes Tinker again. Hex is about to be finished. He's got the Mystic Staff. Very close to that Void Stone. A fresh wave of March, and they're going to let it fall in exchange for Lifestealer. Pushing even more. He's going on the tier 2. There's your Glyph. Lifestealer, will he join this fight? It looks like he won't. They're just stalling. Trying to go for the trade, but he backs up early. I'm not sure about that Glyph. It seems like they're going to let it fall anyway, and Lifestealer was already running away when they popped it, so maybe a bit of a waste.
Empire's going to have to back up from this. They don't really have the positioning to take the D3, and Lone Druid's Bear did die again, so it's on cooldown for another 100 seconds.
Well, he does have the fresh bear, but like you said, if it dies, then it's dead for a long time. And that is one thing Na'Vi do have going for them, is they have a lot of heroes that can deal with the bear. Between the Beastmaster Inner Beastar, the Wisp, just having that extra attack speed with Tether, and then, of course, all the Midas armor, the Desolator, Meld, and the Medallion. You talked about how it can be great for getting Roche. It's also a great way to counter the Lone Druid Bear. Holding a 6 armor and isn't really that farmed, doesn't have the plate mail, isn't anywhere near an Assault Cuirass, so the bear is not going to be that durable in these team fights. It's something they could look to bring down, but then they have to run into March, and that's something Na'Vi apparently does not want to do, and I cannot say I blame them.
So Empire's still pushing, it looks like. Tier 3 tower is only at 813 HP on Na'Vi's top lane.
And round 2 begins. The bear's still on cooldown for 50 seconds. But they're apparently not afraid to go in. They're really relying on that March to do the dirty work. Funnick's not here. Let's see if Na'Vi relocate mid, but he does have the Blink Dagger. He's got the Hex up as well. Can most like... Oh, the relocate happens top. Will Funnick get there in time to help out? Here comes the backstab. Funnick is here. He blinks into the tether, and now it's Havos doing some good work, but he gets pulled in by the lasso away from the fight. Funnick almost out of mana. Open wounds onto him. Pulled back. What the? Oh man, when it's all said and done, TA, the only one to fall. Twin-headed dragon buys back, and the push continues. And in fact, Lifestealer trying to kill off the bear. It's really low. He's rejoined the fight. Now chasing onto Godblack. There's no open wounds. Will he get cold feet? And barely gets away from it. Puppey has arrived again. Tethered up. They are getting picked apart a little bit. The Lone Druid on the retreat. The Tinker rejoining the fight again. He's got no Hex. He needs 3 arm. He'll get... No, he's gonna live for the moment. He's low. The Infest almost bringing him down. Juking like a boss. He's still running. And if he turns around and hexes, maybe they can bring down this Lifestealer. Actually, probably not. I don't think the Lone Druid has what it takes. And apparently Tinker agrees. He's running for his life. Triple kill for the Lifestealer. What a crazy fight. And Hastern, is he going to be able to grab it? Tinker rejoining. God, this is such a cheesy combo. And with the Hexes coming out, they might be able to bring Light of Heaven down, but so too might the Lone Druid be in trouble. Blinking forward is Funnick. Boy, is he maneuverable in these fights, but he gets hit once and loses almost half his health from that Lifestealer, just chopping away. Now he's lasered. Now he can't hit anything. He does have a rage in 1 second. It's too late. They get the kill, and Dendy's still on the chase. What the hell am I watching? Benny never been more appropriate than now. Scandal jumps in, but then sees the relocate from Wisp and tries to run away, going up onto the high ground. How many kills are we going to have in this damn fight? Will it ever end? They lasso the Wisp, but she's about to go back to base. Puppey gets away. No, he doesn't. No death notification, but he does indeed fall there. Woo! Merlini, what do you think about that fight?
Wow, that was such a ridiculous fight. It all started just THD dying, buying back, and we just saw kill after kill after kill. But here we see the power of Tinker. The longer the fight progresses, the stronger Tinker's going to be, because he can just, you know, when everyone's out of HP and mana, he just can just TP home, TP right back on the Syllabear's Bear, and just hop right back into the action and pick up an extra couple of kills at the end of the fight.
We also see how important that Ghost Scepter would be. It's got to be an item he's thinking about soon. I mean, Shiva's isn't bad either. We could see, I suppose, potentially the Force Staff, which is a decent item for him, but one auto attack from the Lifestealer, he lost at least 1/3 of his health, and he played it well. He really kept away from him, but he was also you know, he didn't just abandon the fight. As soon as he had an opportunity to come back in, he'll blink away, he'll rearm, and then he'll look for that opening to come back in with the Hex. And you get Rage, but that Rage has a much longer cooldown. Rearm, you can just spam it pretty much as you want. There is a completed heart on Lifestealer. I'm not sure about this.
Smoke from Na'Vi right now. Looks like they're trying to pick off a kill before this next Roshan spawns.
I feel like what they need is more disables, not more HP on the Lifestealer. If he gets Chain's Hex, he's going to die eventually no matter what. Here comes the relocate, though. The Wisp goes in. It's actually a bear gank to start off. Then they move on to Goblak. He's getting picked off. TP in from Funnick. He arrives. Carriers have arrived, and there goes the Hex on the Dendy. Now getting focused down. Lifestealer on the other side of the fight. Where's that Lifestealer? Did he get pulled back? No, there you go. There he is. He's entangled. Funnick jumps on top of him, taunting him almost. Maybe a bit of an overextension, but he does pull it off in the end. And when it's all said and done, 3 heroes dead for Na'Vi. Boy, is Funnick living life on the edge.
Very smart Empire item choice by Empire. They have 2 Ghost Scepters now, one on Undying and one on the Tinker, so they are nigh impervious to this physical damage. Even after the Roar, the Undying was able to survive by popping his Ghost Scepter. That 1600 gold investment really is paying off for him.
And then it's wasting that precious time during Rage, which you desperately need. Even when Denny gets his BKB, especially when it's got lower levels, 1 Ghost Scepter, and that's pretty much going to be your 5-second BKB charge at that point. And Empire get another Aegis. We'll see who it goes to. Lone True getting close to his Assault Cuirass. We've seen Na'Vi in this position before. In fact, I think it was Game 1 when these teams played in the winter bracket finals, where it looked bad for them, but with the Wisp, they were able to mount a comeback. The one difference in that game, Dendy was a really fat quap. In this game, Dendy, one of the highest impact players in the scene, is just not really able to have an impact. There's so many ways to deal with them. Not only the Ghost Scepters, the lassos, the sticky napalm, the entangle, the blind from laser. It's just, it feels like he's just not really able to do anything in these fights.
At this point in the game, you really have to question their TA pick. They had Bat, and Bat's a very, very good mid counter versus TA, and they have multiple instances of damage on every hero. Lone Druid will have Radiance, Tinker has March, Bat has Firefly, TG has all his AoE spells, and Undying has Tombstone, Soul Rip, and Decay. So all of those go through Refraction, so you really have to question TA's usefulness against this sort of lineup.
Yeah, something that we saw in the laning stage where Dendy actually did okay because he lucked into that haster in top, and it helped salvage the lane for him, but he was not having the best time. He made all the right decisions, too. He got the early boots so that Batrider couldn't get the easy first blood. It's not that Dendy's made any blunders, particularly, but like you said, it's just the pick. It's not really a great matchup in the mid-game against this lineup, and it was unlikely to have a good lane, so that's where you got to question it, but we'll see how it works out.
He has finally picked up his Black King bar, so he may be actually able to do some damage in team fights.
Right, and here comes potentially the push mid. Do Empire look to commit to this, or do they just sort of siege this one out?
Well, they were pushing top T3 earlier, but they didn't actually have the Aegis. They pushed after the 6-minute mark, so this time they're wisening up, and there's only 2 minutes after Roshan has died, so the Aegis has another 4 minutes. They do need a push in this next 4-minute window, though, or else it's just a waste of Roshan. Well,
we have a pause. Pings look okay. A bit higher than you'd like, to be honest, for a LAN event, but what can you do? But nobody disconnected yet. Maybe we're having some sort of keyboard or hotkey issues. At this point in the game, boy, this game has just been so crazy for the past 10 minutes. But Gold Graphs, it's a 8,000 gold lead for Empire. Honestly, considering how much better their lineup is at farming at this point in the game, not really that overwhelming. Experience, about 7,000. A significant lead, but definitely one that Na'Vi could recover from. For me, the bigger question is, it feels like a 4v5 because that TA just can't do anything, and Empire just having Funnick, just having the chain hex, it's like having a roar every 3 seconds. It's just kind of insane.
Now that the supports are getting farmed, it's going to be very hard for Havos to do anything. They have 3 Ghost Scepters, one on Tinker, which is rearmable, one on Undying, and one on Twin Head Dragon. And Batrider's pretty mobile as is. We try to see a gank on middle.
They want to get Jakiro. They will get him. He's Ghost Scepter, but still dropping to the Wisp Orbs, and he will fall. But even then, the Ghost Scepter is forcing them to wait around a lot longer to try and get that kill. They will drop a couple more traps, but another nice thing about that March, as well as the Radiance Bird, it's really hard to use those Blink Daggers when you'd like to. Lifestealer in the front line, just trying to tank up and push this lane out. The top lane's pushing it a bit. I don't know if Na'Vi can really push, and yeah, it really doesn't look like they can. Until that Tinker's dead, there's just pretty much no way.
Looks like Funnick is going for Lincoln Sphere next, which will block Roar. Pretty much the only way they can kill this Tinker at this point in the game. So good item pickup by him.
I guess maybe if he gets Tether stunned, that would be the only other way, but, you know, then if he gets the Ghost Scepter off in time, he should be fine, so it's going to be tough to kill him.
He's only 1,000 gold away. Let's see. It's been 3 minutes since Roche, only about 2.5 minutes left on
there's the Tether stun onto Funnick. Now he Ghost Scepters, but it looks like the damage has already been done. He'll drop, and that is a huge kill, picking him off from the top lane. Dead for a minute, and I think he's got buyback. He does, but really don't want to have to use it now. He'll do it.
At this point, I would probably give the Aegis to Tinker. He's just much more important hero than Syllabear at this point, and it's mostly that his bear gets focused, not the actual hero itself.
Yeah, we'll have to see when they go for that next Roshan if they do give it to the Tinker, but obviously you can't pass that Aegis around now. So here they go. They're sieging that mid tower, trying to bring it low, and they are doing a lot of damage. It's just so hard to engage into this, but they do try with the relocate. They're focusing Scandal. The Tether stuns are here. Now Silent. They're just bouncing from target to target. This is very similar to what Na'Vi did the last time they played Empire in that game #1. Dendi now forced to run away, though. His BKB expires. The Lone Druid still has the Aegis. The Bear will fall. He's got a fresh resummon. There's your Hex, followed up by the Ice Pad. The chase continues. Then they back off. They will retreat off of this. They still have the Aegis, but the expiration's coming soon. The tower falls mid. The Glyph already on cooldown. And maybe we're going to see Empire go for round 2 soon. Or maybe they're going to wait for that next Aegis. We'll see. But with the Tinker having bought back, if he dies, that could be big trouble for them.
We have to question this plate mail pickup by Batrider. All of the other supports have gotten Ghost Scepters, and he just got picked off by Nyx and Wisp alone, which wouldn't actually happen if he had a Ghost Scepter. That 10 armor doesn't really help. Nyx just chops through any sort of low HP hero as is, so it's only going to last, like, 1 or 2 extra hits against the Nyx.
The trap's being dropped down in the middle lane. The siege, round 2 will commence. Bear is on cooldown, cannot be resummoned for over a minute. March of the Machines providing the air support. Here we go. No, we don't. They're not actually going in at all. They're going to try and split push this instead. Lone Druid wants that tier 3 top. He'll get it. 2 lanes of Rex now exposed. And how much to the split push will they commit? Wow, wow, that Bear's such a pain in the ass. And the worst part is the hero can sit way further back. Not easy to engage on, still pretty close to his team. Now we'll go back mid, just bouncing from lane to lane. It looks like, it's almost like he's just an anti-mage blinking from camp to camp. But no, we're actually seeing him push the base. Tinker TP's in, blinks back. Lincoln's, if he wants it, almost up, but obviously buyback is going to come off cooldown in the next couple minutes, so we may see him safe for that. The March Machine spammed again. The siege continues, and Na'Vi just really waiting for that right opening. Notice the Life Serum Wisp just, there you go, there's the relocate. They go on Jakiro, but he gets the Ghost Scepter off. Now Dendi, BKB'd, but not really damaging Scandal, and this is the hero that you absolutely want to lasso. Scandal wanted to pull him onto the high ground, but just not able to do it in time. Lone Druid doing some good damage. Where's Funnick? There he is. Raining down 1. Buyback from the Lifestealer. Will rejoin the fight, but the BKB on cooldown from Dendi, and now we'll have to see if Empire continue to push. I think it's a good time to do it. Did the Aegis just expire? It did, and that's going to cue a headlong retreat.
And they smoke to run away. Forcing the Lifestealer's buyback is very important at this point. If they can get the next Roshan and then push before his buyback's up, that could spell doom for Na'Vi.
And how long is his buyback on cooldown for? 4.5 minutes. The Aegis going to be up in a little bit less, so they'll have like a 30-second window or so. Maybe a minute at most. I'm not sure it'll be quite enough, but it'll be close. And also, he hasn't bought another item in a little while now. Going on to Godblack middle lane, but there's always that Ghost Scepter. They're diving the Undying. He's not generally the hero you want to focus at this stage of the game. Light of Heaven's getting entangled. He will pop the mech. The Bear is now off cooldown. Where's Funnick? Always the hero you want to keep your eyes on. There you go. He's on Dendi. Brings him down. They initiate him Godblack. It doesn't work. Now they focus the Bear, though. Buyback from TA. Not really that crucial of a hero to buy back, honestly. Often that TA is one play by Dendi, but just not this game. They bring down the Lone Druid. Now on the other side of action, what is going on here? We have a relocate. Here they come. Round number 5,049. Onto the Godblack they go, but the Ghost Scepters just cheesing their way to this victory. Oh boy, this is too much for me. I don't know if I can take it anymore. Scandal lasses up Dendy. Dendy with the BKB again, trying to chase him down. Wisp fought back as well. Everybody buying back. In comes Funnick again, by himself, assassinates, executes Light of Heaven, then blinks away to safety. Still, pretty much everyone's buyback on cooldown. Another blink forward, into the Hex, onto the Lifestealer. Keep those Hexes coming. He's got to do it. He doesn't have mana for it. The Entangle was there, but now it wears off. Forced to Ghost Scepter. Yes, you can Boots of Travel TP away while Ghost Sceptered. And now another Entangle. Lifestealer might fall. It's a ranged lone Druid who's trying to finish the job. He can't do it. There's your Infest. Dendy giving chase. Blinks up top. Over the hill. Once Blow Your Brain. Blow Your Brain going into true form. Will survive. 3 heroes dead for Na'Vi. And they're chasing. And they're diving. And they want kills. And it doesn't look like they're going to get it. Dendy tethered up, but this is not a very farm TA. Funnick should be okay against this. Will he turn this one around? There's your March. Godblack. Ghost Scepter cheese. Damn it, Ice Frog. Nerf the item. There, I said it. It's too good. No, it's a really powerful counter to these heroes, though. It is the way to deal with it in this game. And Merlini, that was quite a chaotic fight. Who came out on top?
I think definitely Empire did. They took down the Lifestealer again, and even though he has bought back, his bank has still not really taken a hit. He's still sitting on 3,000 gold, but Tinker's still playing very well, even after dying that one-time top. He managed to, you know, just completely obliterate those heroes in the team fights with the constant Hex. Just picked off Puppy top by himself, too.
Brutal. Brutal. And now he's up to 4K, and he's got buyback, so if he wants that Lincolns, could buy the recipe, should still have enough for it. And once he gets it, their options to kill him are so limited. It's just the tether stun. That's the only way they have a shot. And even then, you know, if there's anybody else to back him up, if anybody force staffs him away, or, you know, if his team's there just to lasso the bat. And that's the problem with Navi's lineup, is something I talked about in the early game, is Batrider can sometimes struggle against lineups that have multiple carries, but Dendy doesn't do enough damage right now. It's only the Lifestealer that's a threat, so as long as he gets lassoed, there's just nothing to kill.
Yeah, that's the thing about Templar Assassin. She's sort of forced to rush BKB against most lineups, so that means she doesn't actually have any damage. With Phase Boost, it's just 24 damage, 3 from Magic Wand, and, you know, that's it. She has to rely on purely her skills. She's not like Nyx, you know, who has Armlet, Desolator, Midas for attack speed, Heart even gives you him damage. She just doesn't do any damage at this point in the game.
Right, she's a hero. You pick her to dominate the lanes, to get those early kills, pressure the map, limit the enemy carry's farm, and then when you get to that mid to late game, you're either ahead in farm, or at least you've kept them down a lot so that your carry's ahead. But it never really happened this game, and Empire in a pretty good position. The third Aegis still going to the lone Druid. I'm with you. I really think the Tinker's the better one to carry it, but he does a buyback, so they just want to make sure that both these carries can rejoin the fight. And Talisman of Evasion picked up on the lone Druid. Honestly, I wouldn't have minded just seeing a Ghost Scepter on the hero, but hey, this is another way to deal with all that physical damage.
And she's picked up by Batrider. Tinker should probably get that too, but he is 6-slotted right now. He does have buyback if necessary.
Well, could get that Ethereal Blade, maybe replace the Sorry, but pretty much, yeah, he's as big as you need him to be. Lone Druid trying to push that top lane, but Na'Vi, they saw him do it before, and this time they're much quicker to react. Instead, he'll go up mid. Let's do it through the front door if the back door's not available. And Havos gets hexed. Just working away on that Rax. They don't really want to fight Na'Vi. They just want to kill this Rax safely and get out. Spamming that Hex, then blinking away, then coming back in. Hex number 3. How many more can he get in a row? Finally, Funnick, without the vision from the creeps, does back off. He could do this all day. And
so they're pushing in top and mid. They're going to get one of these sooner or later. Na'Vi still does have Glyph up, but the melee Rex is only sitting at 1/3 HP, similar to top Rex. They're going to break him at one point unless Na'Vi does something about it very soon.
It's like being in a ditch with walls that are 30 feet high. How do you possibly claw your way out of that one? It's, you know, the walls are slick. There's nothing to hold on to. And Na'Vi, they want to jump out of here. They want to go for it, but they just don't have the openings to do it. Havos tethered up. He's got an ultimate orb. It looks like a Manta style is what he wants. Or maybe even a Lincoln Sphere to deal with that last, so we'll see for him. Just a really late game lifesteal, always interesting. There you go. He's hexed. Now they work on the Rax. Notice how they're not really trying to kill him. He's really tanky. Why bother? They used the last one, Dendy. Could that hurt them in the end? It looks like Dendy's just going to get picked off. Wisp relocates to try and save him. Not going to happen. Funnick again. Pew, 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 sir. Down you go. Now Havos picked off, and he'll fall. There's too much lockdown, and these single target carries just not getting the job done in these team fights. Empire sticking together. We're headed to a straight best of 3. Empire tie this best of the fight up. best of 5 up 1-1, and it is now essentially a reset series. What a performance from them, and what a performance, I gotta say, from Funnick.
Funnick definitely played his heart out and definitely won Empire mid and late game. He played very, very well, farmed, didn't get picked off. He only got picked off one time, but it was a very surprise pick coming out last from Team Empire, and it just, you know, manhandled Navi's heroes. Ghost Scepter completely countering them, and then the ability to refresh it, and then Perma-Hex on top of that is just too much for Navi to handle.
12, 1, and 11. It is a really strong... that's such a strong performance. And this is a Tinker against a Wisp. And normally Wisp is the best hero probably in the game to punish global heroes like Tinker. And they just never had the openings. The whole team plays really well. We're headed to a game 3, and we are guaranteed to be going to a game number 4. This is a pretty exciting moment for European Dota. What a way to kick off the series, and hopefully it's going to end with as big of a bang as it began with. Any closing thoughts as we wrap this game number 2 up?
They need a... I think we might see Navi ban Tinker this game. That's all I have to say.
Then we might see Clinks if they ban Tinker. We'll see. But yeah, you're right. It was tough for them to deal with. And if you want to go for that Wisp, in theory, it does deal with Tinker, but the way Empire laid it was so smart to counter what Navi were doing. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up for this. This was the first game that was actually played, but technically it's game 2. Navi have that 1 game advantage coming for the winner's bracket, so now it's all tied up. It's essentially a best out of 3 from here on out. The series is 1-1. We're headed to game number 3. I'm LD. He's Merlini. If you enjoy his casting, be sure to follow him. He streams a lot, and it's very educational. Twitch.tv/MerliniDota. If you want to follow him on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, they're all /MerliniDota. As for me, everything /LD Dota. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Stay tuned. That next game coming up in a